Dubrovnik, ancient city. Also one of the UNESCO sites in the country. So that's eventually, I think, I will get to, or I hope. This is an old city, and as such there are no places for cars to park, so we had to park on a hill quite a way from the old town, and now we are making our way down to the center. And I think I should tell you something about Dubrovnik. It is a city on the Adriatic Sea in southern Croatia. It's one of the most prominent tourist destinations in the Mediterranean. It's not big. It's a little bit over 40,000 people live there. But in 1979, the city of Dubrovnik was added to the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites in a recognition of its outstanding medieval architecture and fortified old town. And that is why I am here today. The history of the city probably dates back to the 7th century. This is the main gate, by the way. A feature of Dubrovnik is its walls, which run almost 2 kilometers around the city. The walls are 4 to 6 meters thick on the landward side, but are much thinner on the seaward side. The system of turrets and towers were intended to protect the vulnerable city. The walls of Dubrovnik have also been a popular filming location for the fictional city of King's Landing in the HBO TV series Game of Thrones. And it also was featured in parts of Star Wars. The Last Jedi were filmed in Dubrovnik in March 2016, in which Dubrovnik was used as the setting for the casino city of Canto Bight. Dubrovnik was one of the European sites used also in the Bollywood movie called Fan, and in early 2017 Robin Hood was filmed on locations in Dubrovnik. So it's pretty in demand, I would say. There are 3 churches in the old town, if I am not mistaken, and this is the Dubrovnik Cathedral, otherwise known as the Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. It's an imposing structure that over the years has undergone many drastic changes. The original cathedral of Byzantine style was built in the 6th century, although a church of some sort had been on this site long before that. The entire building was redone in a construction project that has lasted over 100 years, starting from the 12th century, and resulted in a more Romanesque style of the building. Local legend has it that the change was financed by King Richard the Lionheart after his rescue here during one of the campaigns. A little over 1,000 people live here in the old town, but they are being pushed out by the crowds and noise. And it looks like today is a laundry day, but it is probably every day. There is free access to the old city, but from 6 to 8,000 controls to slow down crowds are put in place, and from 8,000 people there is a ban on organized tours. The Dubrovnik Bell Tower is one of the highlights of the old town. I'm walking right now on what is called the Stradun, the main street, and you can see the bell tower ahead of me on Luža Square at the end of the street. Originally constructed in 1444, the tower suffered damage in the 1667 Dubrovnik earthquake, among other earthquakes, and having started to lean towards the Stradun in the early 19th century, it was demolished in 1928 and entirely rebuilt to the original design in 1929. It was damaged again in the 1979 Montenegro earthquake and restored in 1987-1988. The entire city was almost destroyed when a devastating earthquake hit in 1667. Later on, in the early 19th to early 20th century, Dubrovnik was part of the Kingdom of Dalmatia within the Austrian Empire. Dubrovnik became part of Yugoslavia And during the 1991, during the Croatian War of Independence, Dubrovnik was besieged by the Yugoslav People's Army for 7 months and suffered significant damage from shelling. After undergoing repair and restoration works in the 1990s and early 2000s, it re-emerged as one of the Mediterranean's top tourist destinations and, as I mentioned, a popular filming location. And now we are in the old town harbor. Just imagine how busy the port was in the past. Well, it's busy today as well, but with tourists mostly. In the past, it was wealthy merchants sending ships from here all over the known world. In the 16th century, Dubrovnik traded with India and the Americas. The Republic was among the first to recognize the independence of the United States in the late 18th century. And the city contributed ships to Spain in 1588 for the Armada's abortive invasion of England. So there is a lot of history just in and around this harbor, isn't it? And this is probably the end of today's video. It's end of my trip to Dubrovnik, more or less, and this is the end of the video as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it, at least a little bit, and see you next time. Goodbye.